There we go. Hello, welcome to Parent Night. It just went on. Hello, welcome to Parent Night. Thanks for coming, guys. Can you guys all see where you're at? Okay, just so you know, this is also being live broadcasted, so it's available. We should have this on our Elko High webpage also for those that want more information. Okay, so everybody, our principal is Mr. Foss. We don't have his picture on there. All of our students should know who the head guy is by now. But however, this is his support staff. We have Mrs. Carr. She'll actually be she is currently over the 9th graders. We have Mr. Bryson, who is over the 11th graders. Mrs. Morris, who is over 10th grade. And we also have Mrs. William with us today. She's over seniors currently. I anticipate this will be the same for next year. So each of our classes have one specific vice principal that they report to for attendance issues, anything administration related. Okay, so this is also the counselors. I have Miss Talbot. She serves students with the initials A through DI. We have Mrs. Bingham. She serves students with the initials DO through K. Also Miss Madsen, LI through RE. And if your students happens to be at the back of the alphabet, they have me, Mr. Oliver, students with RI through Z. Okay, so I'm going to go through the registration timeline. So following tonight's meeting, actually at 7 o'clock, we're going to release the Google form. So your students will be emailed. The 9th and the 10th graders are going to get through their email, the Google form. We're just asking them that they are putting their course requests so that we can help them with the registration process. Because we'll be meeting with them Monday. We'll start with the 9th graders and then the 10th graders. They'll report here to the Performing Arts Center, and the counselors will make sure that we have all the requests. We'll help them get their classes into Infinite Campus, make sure they know what they're taking, answer any questions they might have. But in preparation for that, also in their emails today that we're sending out, they're going to have access to the course catalog, which that has detailed descriptions of every course available at Elko High School. Currently that says draft at the top. That's just because a couple courses are still in progress. We're still trying to get them accepted and approved. And then on Thursday, shortly after that, we will meet with the junior class, and we're going to give them specific information relating to their senior year. So we also give them a PowerPoint presentation, talk to them, answer any questions they might have in preparation for that. And then the following Thursday during advisory, we pull those students back in and we'll actually help them enter their courses. Thursday, April 23rd, any student that would have missed or is not able to attend Monday and needs some extra help, we're going to hold a makeup registration on the 23rd. Okay, so what are we learning today? We actually have the wonderful opportunity to have Mrs. Carrie Meisner here from GBC. She's going to talk a little bit about dual credit opportunities, CTE pathways, everything related to GBC. We have a lot of wonderful information, just kind of the ins and outs of high school, what to look forward to, what they need to know, and how to navigate systems. So we're going to learn all of the requirements needed for graduation. We'll talk about different diploma types, seals, all of those things. We're going to provide juniors with their transcripts, the updated transcripts, so they can actually see where they're at. If your student needs to know where they're at on their transcript, they can reach out to their counselors currently. We're happy to help them with that. Big things, understanding what the flex credit is and the changes that are actually coming with that from the state. Basically, anything after today's meeting and after the students meet with us Monday, if they have information they can talk specifically to their counselor, we're happy to help them navigate that. So I'm going to turn the time over to Mrs. Bingham.
Hi, everybody. I first am going to talk to you guys about testing. So there are 2 exams that your student needs to take to graduate. One of them is the ACT. They will take this as a junior. If your student is a freshman or a sophomore, they have the option of taking the pre-ACT. It's not mandatory. It is something that they can choose to do in preparation for the ACT their junior year. But again, it is mandatory that they take that. They do not have to receive a certain score, but they must sit for the entirety of the test. And then your student must also take the civics exam. This is typically done in their government class as a senior. Again, no specific score, but they just must take this to graduate. Additional tests that we have, I already mentioned the pre-ACT, but the ASVAB is also a test that is given as a career aptitude test as sophomores for students, which is optional as well. And then PE and work priv. So if your student is a freshman, this will look a little bit different. PE waivers, previously you used to get credit. You will no longer get credit if your student participates in a season of a sport or an approved club activity, marching band, cheer, dance. Then the season that they completed can count for a semester of PE. And it just waives them having to complete that PE credit as a junior. They just get to take another elective credit in lieu of having to take PE as a junior. They will still have to take and finish PE as freshmen. Next, okay, work privileges. So seniors who are not credit deficient are eligible for 1 work priv class. If your student is on track for an advanced diploma or a CCR, career ready diploma, they are eligible for more than 1 work priv. But students can have no more than 3 work privs. But that is based off of what your GPA is at the end of your junior year. That determines how many work priv you get for the entirety of your senior year. So it can't change mid-year as a senior. And then NCAA sports. So if your student is interested in playing any sport at the college level, I would just make sure you and your student reach out to their guidance counselor, so that way we can ensure that your student is enrolled in all of the classes necessary to be eligible. There are not specific academic requirements for D3 schools, but for D1 and D2, there are specific classes that your student will need to take. So it's important that we know that early on, because they have to actually complete 10 of those classes before the start of their senior year to be eligible. And that's it for me. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Madsen.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about credit recovery and options to retake courses and summer school. So in the past, we've allowed sophomores, juniors, and seniors to take credit recovery if they failed a core class. This year, or this coming year, we're only going to allow juniors and seniors to take credit recovery. At this point in time, we are not sure if they're going to charge for that. Their kids also have the option of retaking a class and actually sit in that class. So if they failed biology, they would go back and actually take the biology course. We look at both options when we are helping kids recoup credits. And then summer school. As far as we know, summer school will be offered, but it's only going to be offered to juniors and seniors. And it's only going to be 4 core subject classes that are taught. So, and there's no cost associated with summer school, but only juniors and seniors are allowed to attend summer school this year. And again, credit recovery will only be for juniors and seniors. Retaking courses obviously is going to be something that we'll offer to sophomores. And then there are other ways to recoup credits, but we can talk with students and parents individually. So if you have additional questions, please reach out to your student's individual counselor, and we can help you out with all of that. Okay, class rank and GPA. I hope that you guys can kind of see this little excerpt. Your child has a transcript. That transcript is their legal record of all their grades after each semester. And the GPA will either increase or decrease after each semester based upon the grades that they've earned, because each grade has a numerical value assigned to it. If you look, you'll see weighted versus unweighted GPAs. Your weighted GPA includes any honors or AP or dual credit courses, because those have bonus points assigned to each one of them. Your unweighted is just regular grades, just their normal grades in their normal classes. So there is a difference. You should see that start to increase or decrease each semester. So if you ever want your child's transcript, they can come pick it up in the guidance office from their school counselor, or you can email the counselor and we can send that to you. Also, class rank is listed on there. That's also, fluctuates between weighted and unweighted GPAs, but you can kind of look and see where they're at in their class. Sometimes colleges want this information. They obviously look at GPAs for scholarships and entrance. So it's important that kids also keep track of that information. And then you can also look on their transcript credit summary so you can see what your child has earned and what they still need to take. All right. Things that are on the horizon for you guys. So if you are parents of juniors, then next year we have a specialized meeting with parents that are going to be, that are going to have seniors. And we also talk about scholarships that are going to be available and college applications, all of those things. And we also sit down with each senior and talk about those things as well. So those are some of the things that are on the horizon. And scholarships that are available that are very common are the Millennium Scholarship and the Nevada Promise. So the Millennium Scholarship is offered to kids who obtain an advanced diploma. An advanced diploma is a 3.25 GPA with 4 credits of math, one of them having to be Algebra 2. The Millennium will pay for a certain amount towards your tuition at UNR, UNLV, even GBC, other colleges within the state of Nevada. So it's a really great scholarship to earn, and you have a couple of years to use it because you can defer it. So there's a lot of money there. And then the Nevada Promise. We try to get each senior to sign up for the Nevada Promise. This is the last dollar scholarship. There's no GPA requirement. This normally opens up a little bit before October, but it closes. It's a firm deadline at the end of October. But it's not just an application and you're a one and done. There are different steps and different things that need to be turned in to retain this scholarship. Federal financial aid applications are one of them. They meet with mentors, they have to have community service. So there's other things that need to be done in order to keep that scholarship. But there's no GPA requirement, and it's great. It can pay for your tuition at 4 different community colleges within the state of Nevada. And we have a scholarship coordinator on campus. Her name is Mrs. Cruz. She sends out senior newsletters and lots of different information when that time comes, especially if you have a senior this next coming year. All right, I'm going to hand over the mic to Mrs. Talbot, and she's going to go over diploma types.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. And as Ms. Mattson just said, I'm going to be going over the diploma requirements that are required for graduation, and then also touch base a little bit on advanced placement courses, and then I'll turn it over to Tiffany Williams to talk about dual credit. So as far as the standard diploma goes, there are a couple changes that are coming into play for the class of 2029 and beyond. I'm going to go through first, though, the class of 2025 through 2028 requirements. So American government is required the senior year. They take that 1 semester, and then they have econ 1 semester. American history is required of juniors. And then all of these other classes except for computers and health are half a credit. Humanities credit, and there are a ton of classes that fulfill the humanities credit. It's pretty rare that a student doesn't get through high school without, getting extra humanities credits, which become electives. So, and as I talk about the diploma requirements, anything extra that students take in addition to these requirements becomes electives. Okay, I'm gonna save this college and career flex credit to talk about here in a minute. Computers and health are a half a credit. Usually they're taken opposite of each other the sophomore year. And then English, they take 4 years of English, 2 years of PE, and 2 years of science, but it's actually 3 because of the college and a career flex credit. The science counts as one of those. And then you have 6 credits of electives. So going back to the college and career flex credit, it's a little confusing sometimes. And really, if you just think about it, the world history counts as one of the flex credits, and then the third science counts as a flex credit. And that's just how the State Department categorizes those. But you just know that students are gonna actually take 3 years of social studies and 3 years of science. And the third science is taken usually the junior year. So it's 23 credits total at the bare minimum to get through high school. Okay, as far as the 2029 and beyond graduation requirements, again, the flex credit comes into play here. And the changes that will occur with the current freshmen and beyond are that the flex credit will count the 3rd year of science, but then the other flex credit cannot be world history anymore. They have to take world history as a social studies instead of the flex credit. And to fill that, they need, for the 1 credit of flex credit, they need the 4th math, or they need the 2nd year of a career and technical education pathway, okay? So to make that more simple, it's just the kids that are freshmen right now and beyond are gonna have to take either a 4th math for sure, or they're gonna have to take a 2nd year of a career and technical education class. That's the difference, okay? Now, the only other thing that's on here that's different is you can see that economics is now called economics and financial literacy starting with that class, but it will be the same requirement. They already cover financial literacy in that class right now. Okay, so Ms. Mattson talked about the advanced diploma and its connection with the Millennium Scholarship, and every student should be shooting for this because it is $10,000 towards tuition at any Nevada school, which is pretty cool. When I worked up in Idaho, we didn't have that type of money towards scholarships. So that's automatic. If they complete these requirements, we just send a list to the State Department and the colleges get sent that information, and students are granted that. So for the advanced diploma, again, I'll just repeat what Ms. Mattson said, is they have to have 24 credits, so that 4th year of math becomes a 24 credits, or 24th credit, I should say. And then if they do take, there are some career and technical education classes that could potentially count for the 4th year of math if they don't take the 4th year of math, and the counseling staff can help your child figure out if that's the best route. It's also in the catalog too. And so the other difference that's on here is just the economics and financial literacy again. So it's 24 credits, a 3.25 GPA, and a 4th year of math are the differences. And I really believe that students should take more than what's required. Students take 7 credits in a year, and they technically could graduate with 28 credits. And I used to work for UNR, and I remember Steve Maples, the head of admissions, always saying, don't take a senior vacation, because colleges really look at that, and you have lots of opportunities here to take dual credit and some other classes to get them better prepared for college and careers. Okay, so other seals and diplomas, So this is an indicator that gets put on their diploma. So if students complete the pathways for career and technical education courses, those sequences, and they pass a state test, then they can get a seal for that. Also, for the biliteracy seal, students, if they take a foreign language test their junior or senior year, they could potentially show, if they get a certain score, that they're proficient in a world language. And I know we don't require world language for our diplomas, but there are many colleges out of state that do require 2 years of a foreign language to get to apply and get in. And also, our state schools, if you are you bilingual and are going for a Bachelor's of Arts, you potentially could test out of some of those courses too. It's really important that students start looking at colleges, if they're planning on college, start looking at their requirements, their admission requirements that are on their websites, and we can help them in the counseling department, as well as Carla Cruz in our Career Center. So, college and career ready diploma. So this is what students should be shooting for to be the most prepared for those programs after high school. These students must meet the advanced diploma requirements and have 2 credits in one or more of the following: AP, dual credit, CTE courses, or foreign language courses. And they also must meet benchmark scores that are required by the state for ACT. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is advanced placement courses. So students can take these advanced placement courses, which are preparing them for the AP test that they would take in May, that they could potentially waive a class through college, or actual credits they can earn depending on the college that they choose to attend. And I want to say that students who, sometimes I get asked by students or parents, if a school is not going to accept dual credit or AP, how do I know? And there are lots of colleges are going to accept AP and dual credit classes, but there are some that don't. And either way, you still should take them, because it shows the school that you can do rigor and can do college. I had a student when I worked in Idaho that got $250,000 scholarships, or $250,000 worth of scholarships to attend Brown. And so he got a full ride, and he took every AP and dual credit class he could get his hands on, but they didn't accept any of it. But he got in because he took them, because he showed that he could do college, and he was very well prepared, and right now he's in Harvard attending law school. So I just tell kids, you need to push yourself. You never know where you're going to end up. You might change your mind on what college you're going to. I've seen kids dead set on something and then they change their mind because they get a good offer from another school. So it's just important to take the higher end classes if possible. And if kids are going to do that, we have a list here of the classes that we offer. They need to get a recommendation from their teacher. They should be talking to their teachers to make sure that's the most appropriate placement. But we do want kids to push themselves. It's super important. So I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany Williams to talk about dual credit.
I don't know if it'll go down that low. There we go. So I'm one of the vice principals at Elko High School, and this is probably one of my favorite subjects because I came as a career and technical background teacher and worked in the corporate banking industry for a number of years, and really got a good taste at the school that I taught at regarding career and technical. A lot of the students aren't interested in maybe going into a 4-year program or higher, so our schools have been really good about figuring out how in the world can we offer certificates or pathways to get your kids interested in things like auto, energy technology, which we just launched last year, health science that has a medical assist or a sports med. We have family consumer science that also has fashion. We have robotics, but that's really actually in manufacturing. We have digital game design. Goodness, I'm trying to remember all the different, accounting and finance, hospitality management, drafting and design, just a plethora of different pathways for your students to experiment with. They can stay with their teachers up to 4 years, but legitly, they only have to stay there for the 2 years and hopefully take the end of the program assessment and the workplace readiness test, pass it, and they should get some type of college credit. But each pathway is different, so they need to talk to their teacher about that. But it also gives them an insight of, do I like this? Not like this. I'm interested. I was just sitting over there thinking, how many pathways can a student technically take by the end of their senior year and just to take 2 years? And I was thinking that they could take 6 in my brain if I calculated that right. That's 6 different, like, am I interested in this? Don't like that. I'm gonna go over here. I don't like that. If they took one every year, obviously they could take more, but we want them to be completers. That helps with their certificate for their graduation also. I want to just address also the College of History 101 and 102 and English 107 and 108. These are both paid for by Elko County. And actually, I found out this actually is a grant. Somebody donates the money for these classes to be paid for. It's not actually paid for by Elko County. That's what I was told. So those are classes that your seniors can take. If your student is going into their senior year, they can take their 101 and 102 in place of their senior English, or they can go 107 or 108 if they're going into like an associate of applied science or getting a certificate. Some of those pathways that I was talking about, those would be great because that's like business English. How come it's not moving? I did. Oh, there we go. I already talked about that, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Okay, and then the most favorite piece that I'm sure everybody came here for tonight, which is attendance and discipline. I didn't hear any like laughter. I know that's what you came here for, was just for this one specific slide. Attendance and discipline has really been a motivation for us this year. We've put a lot of little advertisements out on our Facebook website, so on and so forth, in order to get kids to realize how important it is to have your students sitting in the seats in the school. So I don't know if there's a lot of people watching this online, or hopefully word of mouth will get around. Please make sure your students are here, and they're just missing valuable instruction. And the law is that you're allowed to excuse. It's not an Elko County School District rule or one of our rules, but the NRS states that your student can be excused 10 times per calendar school year, with it not counting against them. Anything above that does start counting against them, and they could do loss of, I know we've talked about loss of credit, but loss of driver's license is probably the one that gets most students and parents' attention. And it's just not a fun thing for us to do in the attendance office, but we do it. So I just want to kind of give you that heads up that that is one of our consequences for poor attendance. We're hoping that you encourage your students to be here at the school. We do understand that there are times that there's a family emergency or sickness, but please make sure that you're excusing those. And then if they are going to a doctor, dentist, anything like that, that they bring back a medical note, because those do not count against them. Okay, I am going to bring up Carrie Meisner. She is with Great Basin College, and we've really built a great partnership. I don't like my picture up there. I don't like that at all. Anyways, we have built a really great partnership with her, and I just have appreciated what she's brought to our school to try to help get your students the most out of what they can when they're attending here for Great Basin. Oh, by the way, last little piece that I wanted to add to this. Those classes, I think there's always an assumption that if I get a college transcript with Great Basin College, I have to attend Great Basin College. That is a misnomer. Just like if you started off with UNR and your kid fails out of UNR and they have to come back to GBC, whatever they did pass would transfer back up to GBC, should be accepted. Now, how that college accepts those credits is up to them, but GBC is an accredited college with the states recognized, so those college credits should transfer, and it depends on how that college transfer those credits in, but they don't have to attend GBC to be able to get them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I have the pleasure of speaking to you today about dual credit opportunities at Great Basin College. So if you aren't familiar with dual credit, it's an umbrella term for courses that allow high school students to earn college credit at the same time they earn credit towards their high school requirements. Now, there are 3 basic ways to get college credit while you are in high school. Dual enrollment is probably the most familiar term. This is a class that is taught by a GBC full-time or part-time faculty member. We offer in-person dual credit courses, dual enrollment courses for the Elko High School in the High Tech Center. English 101, English 102, History 101, History 102. And Tiffany and I are working on building additional in-person opportunities for our students. Concurrent enrollment is a fairly new term, and it means we have college-level courses taught at the high school by qualified high school teachers. And this is an awesome opportunity. It's a lower cost option. And currently, Elko High School offers a variety of concurrent enrollment classes, including Chem 100. So if your student signs up for honors chemistry next year, they will have the opportunity to take Chem 100. Another class is Environment 100. We've also offered a theater class. Am I missing anything? AP Physics, yes. So we're continuing to build our options in the concurrent realm. The third type of college credit your student can earn is called articulated credit. And this is associated with the career and technical education pathways that Tiffany was mentioning earlier. And those credits are earned after the student takes 2 years of, let's say, auto tech or teaching and training, those sorts of pathways. The student completes the coursework and takes an exam, and if the student passes the exam, then they can earn the college credit. But they have to apply for that college credit with GBC. But when that time comes, I'll be here to help you with that, as well as other members of my team. Dual credit is a fantastic opportunity for our students. You can earn college credit while in high school. This increases college readiness so that our students understand the rigor involved with college courses. And there isn't a better time, because your student is surrounded by supportive Elko High School staff members. They have my support as well as my team and our GBC representatives. Additionally, dual credit courses offer a competitive edge in college admissions. Colleges look at the rigor your student takes all throughout their college career, particularly their high school career, particularly their junior and senior years. And then, of course, we have the cost savings. Dual credit courses are either free to your student, thanks to the grant that Tiffany was mentioning earlier, and the courses are offered at nearly half the rate as a traditional college course. Plus, concurrent enrollment courses are even less expensive. Our dual credit team at GBC consists of a dual credit coordinator located in Pahrump, but she can help our students here. And then I have a great team at GBC supporting our efforts, from our admissions office to our advisors and our team in the Learning Commons that provides testing and tutoring options available to students. Throughout each semester, GBC, I send our grades, the dual credit grades, to our counselors through a very secure process. The counselors then can review the grades to make sure students are on track. Additionally, our advising department can help with a very clear transition to college. We have advisors and very clear pathways that I'll talk about. Someone is really excited about dual credit pathways. They're trying to spread the word out in the hall. So our advisors can help with determining really clear college course sequences, so the course selection is very meaningful and deliberate, and that we don't have any wasted opportunities or money for that matter. There are several dual credit certificates that your students can earn. I have an example up on the screen here. This is our General Studies certificate. This certificate is a really good option for students interested in pursuing an Associates of Arts degree. We can tweak it a little bit if your student is interested in obtaining an Associates of Science degree. We actually have 3 or 4 different general studies pathways in addition to the career and technical education pathways. The suggested course sequence is also shown on the slide. This shows a very clear, deliberate course sequence that will help your student and the counselor and the parents all figure out the best pathway in course selection. And it's always really important to make sure the courses, the dual credit courses that are selected, are reviewed by our wonderful counseling team to make sure they also fulfill the high school requirements. A quick summary: dual credit is a great way to get a head start on college at a greatly reduced cost. Everybody at GBC is incredibly supportive of our dual credit students, and if you ever have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to me directly. My email address is here, and in the next Peach Jar information that comes out, we will have more information about dual credit and the general studies pathway that I had on one of the previous slides. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to help. Tiffany, do you want to close it out?
We thank you very much for coming, for your time. I think that it's a lot of information in a short period of time, but I think, in my opinion, someone who has graduated adult children now, and now I have grandchildren, it is never too late to start, and I think starting with our 8th graders coming up to 9th grade and talking about dual credit is not ever too late. You want to start early, plant those seeds, and get them to start thinking about, what do I want to do with my life? We know statistically your student is going to probably have 3 career changes during their course of working. Lots of jobs, but career changes 3 times. So the faster that they get interested in something and kind of land, it just makes things a little bit easier on you as the parent. But we hope that we've informed you. And like I said, your student will also be seeing us next Monday in our, right here, same place. And we'll be talking to them more about registration at that time. And then you'll have time to review the course catalog, which has been put on our website. And so you can, it's a big one. I think there's like 150 pages or something like that. Anyways, hopefully if you have questions, they can ask their counselors, but we do appreciate your time for coming. And if you have questions, they're gonna stay after for a few minutes and then we'll be leaving. Thank you so much.